So, emotional neglect is abuse. So, emotional neglect occurs in a relationship where somebody is, by nature of the relationship, who is supposed to care, supposed to be concerned, supposed to treat you well, supposed to be aware of the things that are going on with you, but doesn't care to do that and blatantly refuses. It is being unconcerned about the person's feelings, concerns, needs, desires, and experiences. Emotional neglect can occur even when your physical needs are being taken care of. So if you have a parent where you were raised in a home where that parent did take care of your physical needs, they fed you, they gave you a home to live in, they took care of they put clothes on you, they drove you to school, but they didn't care at all about how you were feeling, what you were experiencing, what bothered you. That is emotional neglect. So here are the things that are lacking in an emotionally neglectful or emotionally abusive relationship. So there is a lack of awareness of the things, of the person's emotions and the things that bother them. So there's no concern for what's going on with you, how you feel. They're just completely like unconcerned with maybe the fact that you are upset about something that happened, or you're very upset that your best friend, cut off the relationship if you're a child, or something happened at school that was very traumatic to you. They don't care. They are just, leave me alone, I'm busy, or they're very mean and abrupt with you. They expect you to just, suck it up and be strong. So there's no concern for those, what's going on. Or if they hurt you, you hurt my feelings, or, you're crying because the person that yelled at you or didn't help you, and they're just like, be quiet. I don't want to deal with you right now. I'm busy. That is emotional neglect, because the person is saying, I don't care how you feel. I don't care how I've impacted you. I don't want to be bothered. The next one is exactly that. Attention when the person is hurt or upset. I'm not going to give you the attention that you deserve. I'm not going to find out, like you would normally go to a child or a person in a relationship that you care about, and that person is upset, and you would say, what's bothering you? Or you would say to a child, you would say, come here and tell me what's got you so upset. She says, no, there's no attention. It's the opposite. It's ignoring you when you're hurt or upset. It's continuing to watch TV, continuing to do whatever they were doing. It's not looking at you, not addressing it. Next one is not taking your needs into consideration. So you're going on a trip, or your food, they're cooking food, or they're ordering food, going to a restaurant, doesn't care that you don't like it, doesn't care that you're allergic to the food, doesn't care that have something going on where you can't eat where you're going, or you just flat out don't like it. Like, no, it doesn't matter. They pick whatever restaurant they want and get the food they want, and that's it. It doesn't, you are not a consideration. You're not a consideration with your schedule. You're not a consideration with what you like. You're not a consideration with what you need. And it's just, you're, you don't matter. The next one is avoidance. They don't avoid things that cause you pain. So they know that it bothers you if certain things are said, or you're around certain people, or if they watch something on TV. Maybe they watch pornography, or maybe they watch a show that you hate or you feel is demeaning. Maybe they bring up a subject that upsets you when they start criticizing your pastor, or being critical of a friend of yours, or whatever it is. They refuse to avoid the things that they know are hurtful to you. In fact, they might even do them on purpose, but definitely do not consider you and avoid those things. The next one is they do not respond to your needs and your requests. So if you say, could you please stop at the store and get something for me? No, no, I'm busy, gotta go, don't have time for that. Or I need help with this paper that I need to do for school. No, don't care. Or I need you to take me to the store. to go get a folder for my report that I have to do, or I need to go get some materials to make my project. Nope, doesn't matter. You're not important, don't have time for you. So that's emotional neglect. That your requests and your needs, you don't matter. Same thing in an adult relationship. You request something and you ask for something that you need, and you're doesn't matter. You're not important. The next one is they don't validate you through attention and affection. So when you're hurting, when they're not going to hug you and say, I love you, they're not going to hug you when you're hurting and say it's going to be okay. They're not going to give you any type of feedback, affection. So as a child, it means you're not hugged, you're not loved, you're not just it's absent, and it's neglectful, it's hurtful, because people and children and adults both have needs for all of these things. So when you need attention, you need affection, and when you don't get that, it is a lack and it's harmful. They don't have reasonable expectations. So if you're not able to do something, it might be, come on, we're going on this hike on, and you're like, I have a hurt foot. Like, I can't do that. It's like, oh, come on, quit being such a baby. It's another word, no reasonable expectations. They don't have reasonable expectations for you. Maybe they expect you to work 14 hours a day, or they expect you to be able to take perfect care of them, even though you've got brand new baby or twins, and it's still like, why aren't you, you just had a baby. It's like, get up and take care of me. What's your problem? Why aren't you doing all this? Or it might be expecting as a child that they're expecting you to do something that you're incapable of. I mean, you're not a good athlete, and yet it's like, well, I want you to go play football. It's like, well, I'm kind of not a football guy. Like, or I am not I don't like dance as a girl. And there's no reasonable expectations. It's whatever the other person wants, and that's harmful. And then relational and emotional availability. There isn't any of that. They're not available to you to establish a relationship, or to establish or to connect with you emotionally. And that's a lack, and that is neglect. When there's a lack of that in any relationship, especially one in which the relationship is supposed to be close and loving and caring, then it leaves a vacuum that is harmful. Knowledge of the person's life. They don't know you. They don't pay attention. They don't have little things about you that they know. They don't know your quirks. They don't know your needs. They don't know your personality. They might not even pay attention to like who your friends are, or what you like, or what you like to do, or what your plans are. Like, don't know that you are going to the doctor to get tests, and don't ask you about them, because they don't know you, and they're not making sure that they uh, expend the energy to be knowledgeable about your life. So when you suffer from emotional neglect, it is painful, and you feel alone, you feel unwanted, you feel unloved, and the tendency is to look at that, and instead of saying that's a bad person who doesn't care about me, is to put it back on you and say, I must be unlovable, I must be unworthy, I must be bad and unable to be a kid that is worth having a parent love them, or a woman or a man capable of having my spouse love me and value me. And that is a mistake, because it is not you, it is the other person who is incapable or does not desire to be emotionally available to you, and is not either is it's that person's fault. So you've got to remember, just because somebody neglects me does not mean that I'm unlovable. I am still lovable. God still loves me. Other people still love you. Find other people, even if it's in a support group or a church setting, who will love you, who will care about you, who will get to know you. who will come to you and attend to you when you are hurting or when you are sad or when you have concerns that need to be brought up. So it is also your responsibility to get your needs met in a healthy way. When somebody is not able to meet your needs, you have to recognize that and you have to say, okay, well, I have a right and a responsibility to figure out how to get my needs met in healthy ways, which may be in other relationships. It might be in severing that relationship with that person. Now, as a child, you don't always have that option and may not recognize these things, but it is something that even looking back on your childhood can be helpful to say, that wasn't my fault. That was my parents' inability or unwillingness, my parents' dysfunction to not be there for me and be able to connect with me emotionally. And to recognize that it is abusive, and abusive means it causes you harm and it is damaging and hurtful and not okay. So to be able to affirm and validate to yourself it's not okay when somebody who is supposed to be emotionally available is emotionally neglectful. So the scriptures that I have to reflect this is Galatians 5:13 through 14. It says, you, my brothers and sisters, were called to be free, but do not use your freedom to indulge your flesh. Rather, serve one another humbly in love, for the entire law is fulfilled in keeping this one command: love your neighbor as yourself. We are supposed to love each other, not be unconcerned and neglectful of each other, and especially in a relationship where that is supposed to be there. Galatians 6:4 says fathers, and we can also say by uh, understanding a relationship, it would also include mothers, but it's addressing fathers. Do not exasperate your children. Instead, bring them up in the training and instruction of the Lord. And exacerbate means to provoke them to wrath. So do not treat your children in a way that provokes them to anger, that provokes them, that stirs up troublesome feelings and is painful to them, which would include emotional neglect. Husbands are told to do this in Ephesians 5:25 through 29. I'm going to read the whole thing because it's the opposite of emotional neglect. Think about the things that I said as I'm reading this. Husbands, love your wives, just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her to make her holy, cleansing her by the washing with water through the word, to present her to himself as a radiant church without stain or wrinkle or any other blemish, but holy and blameless. In this same way, husbands ought to love their wives as their own bodies. He who loves his wife loves himself. After all, no one ever hated their own body, but they feed and care for their body, just as Christ does the church. So what he's saying is, if you love your wife, you love her as you love yourself. If you care about yourself, you're going to care about your wife in the same way. If your needs matter, your concerns matter, your feelings matter, you're going to care about your wife. If you don't, you're being emotionally neglectful, maybe even physically neglectful, depending on the situation. Genesis 29:31 through 35 says, when the Lord saw that Leah was not loved, he enabled her to conceive, but Rachel remained childless. Leah became pregnant and gave birth to a son. She named him Reuben, for she said, it is because the Lord has seen my misery. Surely my husband will love me now. She conceived again, and when she gave birth to a son, she said, because the Lord heard I am not loved, he gave me this one too. So she named him Simeon. Again she conceived, and when she gave birth to a son, she said, now at last my husband will become attached to me, because I have borne him 3 sons. So his name was Levi. She conceived again, and when she gave birth to a son, she said, this time I will praise the Lord. So she kept looking for love from her husband, and we know that she was married to Jacob. and Jacob loved Rachel, her sister, and that's who he wanted to marry. And then their father, Laban, tricked Jacob and gave him Leah first, and Jacob never loved Leah. And so Leah, as the unloved wife, was looking to her husband for love, looking for her husband for emotions and emotional connection, attachment, and she didn't get it. And finally, by the fourth son, she said, forget it. I'm not going to get it from him. I'm going to look to the Lord, and I'm going to get it from the Lord. I'm going to praise the Lord this time. My focus is going to be on the Lord, not meaning that the neglect is okay, but recognizing that if somebody's neglecting you, you're not going to get that from them. And you are allowed to shift your focus and get your needs met from somewhere else. So as long as she was believed that, then she was looking for it. But when she gave up, she was able to change the circumstances for herself. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you'll check out my classes and my books and my studies. And please write me if you have any specific relationship question that you would like for me to answer. God bless.